welcome to the Marriage Can Win show. We are your hosts, Eric and Dr. Sakeisha Hylick, your relationship experts.
Here at Marriage Can Win, we educate, we empower, and we encourage couples to embrace that marriage can win, especially when you focus on three key areas: improving your communication skills, developing your money management skills, and enhancing your intimacy skills. And we are so excited tonight.
Yes, and we like to invite you and all of your family members to tune into our show. And once you join in, please let us know what city and state that you are calling or that you are watching from. And also, if you have any questions, go ahead and put it into the chat. We will also add that to the display so our guests will be able to answer your questions. And so also follow us on Instagram and we will follow you back.
Wow. I'm super excited.
Yes.
I can barely contain myself. We're here at Marriage Can Win. We're always excited about connecting you with dynamic couples who are here to help.
Dynamic.
Yes, to bring about a change in your marriage. And tonight we have a special treat in store for you. We have with us this evening Dexter and Tonya Scott, aka the Upgraders.
Hello, good evening.
Yes, good evening, guys. Thank you so much for having us on your show.
Thank you for being on.
All right, let me tell you a little bit about the Upgraders before we get started. Dexter and Tonya are known for their authentic and passionate delivery in everything they do. They are mindset development trainers and international speakers who've spent years motivating and inspiring audiences in the thousands. They teach people how to upgrade their mindset, get out of their comfort zone, and live their lives to the fullest extent. And after they both started their careers in government, they decided to leave their comfort zone and experience the entrepreneurial path. So for those of you that are reluctant to do so, it can be done.
Yes, it can.
They are seen as the couple for helping people shift their paradigm from limited thinking to limitless possibilities. They pull from life lessons learned and personal trials and tribulations that they bring forth insightful, engaging, and stimulating experiences and empowering conversations. They've traveled the world on multiple occasions, communicating inspiring examples, transformational information, and personal stories that audiences can connect with and draw from. They're helping people by breaking the bondage over their minds and allowing them to live free of mediocrity, limiting beliefs, and the fear of failure. So everyone, whether you're joining live or watching the replay, we want you to welcome Dexter and Tonya Scott to the Marriage Can Win show.
It's exciting.
It is. Eric and Dr. Sakeisha, thank you so much. Thank you so much. We're just honored. We're honored and we're thankful.
Thank you.
Man, we're thankful to have you guys.
We are.
Oh, yes.
Man, this is so exciting. I don't even really know where to start. There's so much going through my mind right now. So much information we want to pull down. So first, anyone that's watching, I want you to grab a paper and a pen and get ready to jot down these nuggets of wisdom, because we're ready to upgrade your thinking on this evening. They're ready to shift the mindsets, okay?
Yes. And remember to go ahead and put down your questions, and we will highlight it on the display so that the upgraders can answer your questions.
Wow.
All right.
So, Dexter, Tonya, how long have you guys been married?
Well, we just celebrated 19 years on the 21st of April.
Oh, wow. 19.
Awesome.
It doesn't seem like it, but it's
really
19
does.
years.
Time flies when you're enjoying yourself. So that's
it really
good
does.
thing. And I want you to tell us a little bit more about your businesses, because you talked a lot about shifting into limitless possibilities. So we want our couples out there to see how there are limitless opportunities available to them.
No stopping, no limits.
Yeah, absolutely. So Tonya and I, of course, as you guys stated, we are the Upgraders. Mm-hmm. And interestingly enough, we were given that name by a marketing firm probably 5 years ago.
Wow.
So we went to a marketing firm here in Durham, North Carolina, Kimberly Bass Knight of Echoes Media. And we were sitting and talking with her, and we were telling her who we are, what we like. And she said, "You guys are the upgraders." I can see you guys taking people on an elevator and they get in on the bottom floor. I can see you upgrading their lives. And that's where that stuck. And that's where we came up with the name. So we've been the upgraders for 5 years. Yeah, 5 years. And we're also in direct sales. We've been able to reach the second from the highest rank in the company. And we're blessed to have done that in the last 6 years. So those are two things that we're doing. And Tonya launched the project, which she'll be sharing shortly about that. So we're just excited about where everything's.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how did you guys, or what was that aha moment that caused you guys to recognize your calling? Because you mentioned in your bio that you had government jobs. What made you exercise that leap of faith and go from, okay, I'm working a government job, I've got guaranteed income, to say, okay, we're going to be entrepreneurs?
Oh, yes.
How long do you have? I'll let you go first.
As long as we got, it's our show.
I actually love even how you said that. It's like, what's that aha moment where, and listen to what you said. You said where you left that security.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and it did feel a bit secure. But and I'll take you back a little bit. It was about 2009, I believe. And it was at that time that we started again in direct sales. Now, one of the things about the industry of direct sales, multi-level marketing, network marketing, though that particular business is one where people can get involved in it and you don't really have to have anything but a desire. It doesn't require a huge investment. The monthly overhead is low. And something was presented to me and I liked it. And I can remember sitting there. I can still visualize me sitting there in the chair right now. I was very quiet. I didn't say anything, but I was listening and I'm watching and I'm listening and I got started. Now, at the time I was working, for Wake County government. I just started earning about $50,000 a year, which was so exciting for me. I'm like, I am finally making $50,000 a year. It felt so good. But I started with this company, and within 4 months, I earned 6 figures.
Wow.
So, exactly, in 4 months. And it was wonderful, but it was also very scary.
Okay.
But for me, honestly, at that time, it was a matter of, okay, this is good. I just want to keep going in this. It was fun. I was traveling. I'm experiencing new things. I'm meeting new people. It was like, oh, I want to keep doing this. So I said, Dexter, can I would love to just do this on a full-time basis. Yeah. And he was like, okay. So I submitted my resignation and I, pulled away from Wake County and I started doing that full time. But just as the business had gone up like that, it came down in that same type of speed and it scared me. Now, the things that's so interesting is I was even afraid prior to it doing that. And see, that's when we can get into a lot of the mindset type of things. Because in my mind, though I saw it, I was experiencing it, and it was really nice and fun and all of that. At the same time, I wasn't used to it. I had never really been trained in it. I wasn't someone at the time who was really doing a lot of personal development. It's now being introduced to me. And though I'm moving in the area, I'm also pulling back out of fear of success, as well as fear of failure. And then also as a woman of faith, to be very honest with you, I was afraid, a big time, I was afraid to be successful. Because you would hear so much about money. And you heard how the love of it is the root of all evil. And now here I am earning so much more of it. And then I go into places where they're celebrated for earning it. And then I watch you walk across stages dancing about it. And then I come.
Very true.
So I'm like, am I loving it? Am I loving money too much? So I was afraid. So when it came down, I thought, okay, God, he's saying stop. So I did.
Okay.
And I went into hiding.
Yeah.
I did not care to go back into the workforce. And as we were trying to get things together and Dexter's looking for work and he had started something else, I looked at him and I said, do you think I can be a stay-at-home mom? I'd be the best wife you ever had.
All right.
You know, I'll be there for your children. You're gonna have dinner. You know, everything that you need from me. Can I just stay home? And he said, absolutely. He wanted to. So he did what he needed to do for me to stay home. And the one thing we sacrificed, though, was my health insurance. Everybody else was insured but me.
Yeah.
So that was a sacrifice that we made. And I was home, but I was so afraid, and I pretty much just entered into ministry. So that's how it started. That's how we started actually stepping out there and just beginning to be in business, becoming an entrepreneur. But that's also when I went into hiding.
Well, you know, that's the hardest part, is the starting, you know, to jump out there and start your business. And, you know, when you go out there, when you are used to having a paycheck coming in on a steady basis and all the benefits and all that comfort zone of having a job, it is hard. So what you got over the hurdle. The hardest part is the starting piece.
Yeah.
And we know about that. Lord knows we know about that.
But you know, that's a blessing, because one of the things that I was taking away from your story is Dexter's level of support. Because a lot of times you have couples that pull back because they don't have that level of support. You're ready to step out on faith, and your partner's like, wait, we got light bill, cable bill, mortgage. Exactly. And so they may not be as supportive. So, but when I heard you say that he said that, you know, he was supporting that endeavor, that touched me. And I hope that any couple out there that's listening, either live or to the replay, be mindful of that. That's a blessing in and of yourself when you approach your spouse and say, okay, I'm looking to pull back from perhaps you can say government job or a steady income, right? And I want to stay home. You know, that's a conversation that's taking place in many houses. Like some people aren't. The conversation isn't like, I would like to stay home. There's no option because of what's transpiring with COVID-19. Yeah. So just want to encourage those couples to have those conversations.
Yes.
Yeah. You know something, and I'll add to that is, I think something internally in a man. Well, one of your pillars is communication. So you guys just saw, you guys that are watching, you just saw Tonya touch my arm and state, I want to be a stay-at-home mom. I want to do these things. See, that fed something inside of me as a man, to say, we're communicating, everything's on the frequency that it needs to be on. So let me make that happen. So for men that's watching, make sure, women, make sure, wives, husbands, make sure the communication is open, because what happens is you're able to feed the inner desire that your spouse has and needs to hear. And once I hear it, we're going to make it happen. So that's very important.
That is.
Yes, that's like you said, that's one of our pillars, is communication, finance, and of course sex. But that communication is the most important piece. And you had to communicate about your finances. You had to communicate, and you know what? Mindset. And that's why I won't jump in it, because I know that may be that's where your expertise. Okay. But mindset, you gotta have that switch in mindset from the day-to-day job to the entrepreneurship. And not everybody can just jump into that switch, that mindset switch. Yes.
You're exactly right.
So what's one of your key strategies for getting couples to, or encouraging couples that need to upgrade their mindset? You know, they're not willing to explore the limitless possibilities that are available to them. They're kind of stuck in the box.
Right. So here's how I see this. So in front of us is the sea of pure potentiality. So the quantum realm exists in front of all of us. Everybody's watching right now. Tomorrow is in the quantum realm. And there are all types of things and situations that can come. So when I am manifesting a thing and she is manifesting the same thing, then those realities can come into contact and meet us tomorrow. So one of the things that Tonya and I, we discuss is, okay, we call it the marriage, the seesaw effect, right? So you guys think about a seesaw. So here's the middle and here's a seesaw.
Right.
Tanya and I, through communication styles, and Tanya's been teaching influencing styles for years with the government. We've just brought it into direct sales and also into our business. But we're able to recognize our influencing styles. And me being a man, I know what she's good at, and I'm okay taking the back seat and you let her do her thing. And I'm like, yeah. I'm cheering her on. So it's that seesaw where I'm up and she's here. We can do that, and we can do it very easily because there's no ego involved. Right. And people recognize that we're better together, and we can manifest things much faster when we understand who we are as individuals, but also as a partnership. So.
Wow.
That was exactly what I had. I was talking about on a previous show where we had a comment, remember, on social media, and it was this guy talking about how women are gold diggers, and they're right, and bring down the kings. And my response was, hey, instead of being individuals, you have to work as a team. You have to build each other up, no matter what level you are. And instead of tearing each other down. And you were just showing the excellent example of support. That's what we call selfless love. Selfless love. Because if you're spending all your time pleasing your wife, and your wife is spending all her time pleasing you, nobody's left out. She has her dreams, her aspirations, right? And you're supporting her dreams, aspirations. And at the same time, she's doing the same thing. I mean, that's an exemplary example.
Yeah. Now, one of the things I was thinking about is like one of our core beliefs is just part of communication is expressing what you expect. What do you as how am I pronouncing the word? As entrepreneurs, how do you encourage each other to express what you expect? Because you started having those aha moments in business. It's like, okay, I'm sitting back, I'm watching, this is something I'm ready to jump out to. How did you, well, actually you kind of went into how you expressed it to Dexter, but when you're dealing with other businesses, because you said outside of that, you have other businesses. How does that work either with your relationship or the couples or people that you connect with?
Well, you want to take that, or
you can go? You got something started.
Okay, no. So I'm thinking about the example we just discussed. Right. So when Tonya said, "I want to be a stay-at-home mom," I immediately I went into the theater of my mind and saw what does that look like. So expressing what you expect. So immediately I left there, went there. What does that look like? I come home, Tanya's good, the kids are good. So you get in the feeling, you act as if it already exists. Remember, in the quantum realm, it already exists. So basically what I did is just sped up the process. So what we do as couples is we just simply say, okay, what is it that we want? Let's be hyper-focused.
Yeah.
What is it that we want? When we determine what we want, what does it feel like to be there now? And then we act from that place. So we begin with the end in mind. So
I love it.
I like
the end in mind. I love it. But that's so. The thing that's so interesting is because as I listen to the question and what you're saying, it's like, what would we share with other couples? What did we do ourselves? And so I just want to say this: a lot of times you're doing the very thing that Dexter just described, but you don't know that you are. You don't know that you've entered into the theater of your mind. But that is what you do. You've expressed a thing. You've shared it. You have those desires. And it's so interesting because a lot of times with people, we do have the ability to express what we want, but when it gets down to really thinking big picture, as you're talking to us about even becoming entrepreneurs, when you said, when did you know, how did you do that? See, that's stepping out into a whole nother arena, which requires you to really begin to tap into that place within yourself to say, hey, what would that be like? Sometimes people dream, but they don't dream from a place of reality.
Absolutely.
You dream because you dream and think it's not so. That doesn't activate it. It's when you begin to dream from a place of reality that will activate a thing. Many people don't even know how to do that. And that's where it comes back into when we talk about personal development, reading, who you're around, what you're exposing yourself to.
Yeah.
It's all those types of things that actually begins to unlock what's really already there. You know, the fact of the matter is, I can bring you a gift right now. It's here, but still got to open it. So once you open up a thing, then that's when those things begin to just come out, and it makes so much more sense, and you just simply keep going. Listening even to what Dexter was saying and all he would do, very different in personalities. I'm more so, as we talked about influencing styles. I'm the thinker. I'm the one that could be analytical, you know, and just, I gotta process it. It needs to make sense to me. I would talk about years ago. So this is us even preparing. I still remember it so good, but we're driving down, like going into Greensboro, North Carolina. So we're going down, what's that, 40, 85?
Yeah, 40, I-40 West.
I-40 West, and we're going down. And I remember him asking me a question. You know, Dexter was like, babe, I don't know, something to the point of like, okay, we probably had just passed like a big old warehouse. What would we do with that? What would we do with that? And so I'm like, I don't know. So then I start asking questions. Well, how much is it? Well, what would you think about this and that? And he's like, Tonya, no.
Just dream with
me for a minute. So I had to learn that.
Yeah.
I had to learn when he's wanting me to dream. He's not needing me in the moment to give him detail of how it will happen. What will it take? When will it? He didn't need that. I would shut it down. You see?
Oh,
so
okay.
I learned how to say, okay, let me think. Let me see what the door's gonna look like. And just to experience it so we could do that together because it's needed. Yeah. And then if we really stepping into it, everything that I'm gonna bring to the table with those dotted I's and T's crossed, they're gonna come. Yeah. But I had to get to a place of really realizing, okay, Tonya, join him. Yeah. He said the same thing with me. All right, let me get this with her. And that's how that collaboration also helped. But how did we get to that point? Communication.
Absolutely.
You know, I'm sitting here and I'm listening. I see the abstract and I see the analytical. And when we think analytical, we think numbers. Abstract, we think in macro, right, big picture. And then you got micro, which is more the implemented fine details. Mm-hmm. And then you put the macro and the micro together.
Yeah, that's good.
Very good.
And so that's why you make a great team. You make a great team. And so that's how we are, you know.
That's why I was laughing at him because he's more so, well, yeah, but I'm more so, okay. So like you said, I'm like, give me a piece of paper. I'm like, it's going to be this much per square foot. How much are you going to, I would need I have to have my list. You know, can we do that? And he'd be like, no. Well, this. And I'm like, wait, slow your roll. You know?
I'll be visualizing big picture and going down the road. She'd be like, wait a minute, I can't see that far. Let me, right here, I need a picture. You know, I'd be like visualizing. And she'd no, wait a minute, I need to show me the picture.
But you know what? As you guys were talking, I was hearing wisdom and then discernment in the relationship because you have to discern the needs of your spouse. And I think that it's really essential during this time to learn to discern the needs of your spouse. You can still, of course, still ask and communicate, but recognize, you had to recognize in that moment, Dexter didn't need you to be analytical, Tonya. He needed you to be like, look, I need you to just flow with me. And I think sometimes in relationships, we're so focused on how we're wired, we're not open to the possibilities of sometimes what your spouse needs from you. I understand this is how you're wired, baby, but what I need from you right now is this. And it was very difficult for me to understand that because my husband would tell me, you know, when I would come home from work, I worked as a manager in the pharmacy, and I'm kind of like, okay, this needs to be done. I had my little checklist of what needs to be done. And then I would talk to him and he would tell me, Keisha, I don't need pharmacy manager, Keisha. You need to leave that hat up there.
Right.
You're home. I need your wife hat. And it took me a while to get that, but that's one of the things as wives, we wear so many hats. We operate in so many different realms. We'll be wives, mothers, we could be business owners, employees, employers, we're chef, we're driver, we're so many different things.
Right.
And sometimes they struggle to realize which hat you need to put on.
Right.
So I had to learn I had to upgrade my mindset because I was stuck in one little my little box how I was wired. So,
But you see, couples that win, they're pliable.
yeah.
They're able to mold. And the thing is, if you mold, if you have two pieces of clay, when you come together, you stick and you become one, And so that's what you need to do in order to win, especially when you have two types of couples. You have the business couple and you have the corporate couple, right? The business couple, and that, like you said, it takes a little bit more time to meld because, right, versus the corporate couple where you got a day job, right?
Yeah.
And then there's always conflict if you have corporate and entrepreneurship because, that's two different mindsets, right? You're gonna have, so this one's gonna draw or one's gonna hinder, So but if you both got the same mindset, moving forward, as a great team, and you win. Not saying that it couldn't be the other way. It's just going to be a little bit more conflict, a little bit. It could be challenging, but
good.
That's awesome.
So what would be one lesson that you've learned thus far that you could share with the listeners that's going to inspire them to for the couples to keep going, especially, if you're at two different spaces, being that one is, an entrepreneur and one has, I keep saying day job. I can't, that's my mind. That's the only way I can think of it because that's how it applies to us.
Right.
But what would be that thing that you would recommend to them that they need to do to start shifting their mind?
So when you guys were talking, I was thinking about this analogy, which we came up with years ago. Basically, hardwired versus wireless.
Okay.
So if you think about it, everything is hardwired. Even our mindsets are hardwired. Okay. When we become wireless, then we open up to possibilities.
Hardwired.
So we, like you were saying, we need to be clay, right? We need to be able to gel together. You can only do that in wireless. It can only happen when everybody's thinking from a free thinking standpoint. So I'll give you an example of what I mean by being wireless. And I had to learn this. We had to learn this together. So I came from a government corporate structure. Tonya came from a government county kind of structure. Right. So I do like things boom, 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 even though I'm a socializer. Especially when we're speaking, I like format. Tonya is more extemporaneous than I am. So yeah, she really is. She really is.
It's like everything that we just shared with you, you would think I'm there, but when it comes down to speaking, he's like, okay, Tonya. I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, so you gotta be like,
amazing.
So I left my job first, right? Back in 2005. I left my job to go after real estate appraisals. Tonya was working, right? So I got all the way up to almost certified general appraiser. I wanted to do commercial properties. So I'm at home working. I'm taking the entrepreneur path. Tonya she's still working the 9 to 5. Right. And I had to recognize when she gets home, how can I step in wireless to have food on the table for the kids?
Gotcha.
I'm at home. I'm working. Right. I'm working.
Right.
But how can I take the load off of her?
Yeah.
And Tonya and I, we've done thousands of these broadcasts that we're doing with you now, especially through Zoom and Facebook Lives. So while we were talking, you probably didn't know it, our son walked in. Standing right
there.
and we're both
like this.
And I'm like, I know he see us doing this, right? A lot of times, so this is being wireless. I had to get to this point. They need us. Right. They need somebody. So he's in middle school, going to the 8th grade. So sometimes I would just move off the camera and go take care of the kids' needs while Tonya keeps everything going.
Okay.
And we learn that's that seesaw. Daddy got to get up and do some stuff. You know, mom can handle it. You know, so it's just couples need to be wireless. When you're hardwired, it's hard to get in there. Right? You're stuck in one location, but when you become wireless, the possibilities exist.
That flexibility, and that's so good though, because and even for me, that's what I'm saying. There's so many areas. He's stronger. You know, it's areas I'm having to learn in. And even prior to coming here to spend this time with everyone, with you guys this evening, you know, just early in the day, I just walked in the office. I had some worship playing, and I just stood there for a minute, and I just had a conversation with the Lord. And I just released some things, you know, and because I can get so wired, and I need to get it done and check and all of that. So it's like I am learning, and I love sharing this. People know, anybody who follows us, comes to know me, I am a very transparent kind of person, because to me, the best way for people to learn, and I'm known for saying that exposure brings closure. When you expose a thing, when you're able to really share, it helps other people to be like, it's like an exhale. It's like, it's not just me. Someone understands me. I can relate to that. And it builds you up more than it tears you down. But because I tell people, the enemy operates in silence, and he will want things to stay hidden. But when you're able to really come out and share and expose and give, it just helps so many people. So even with Dexter saying that, I started that because for me, that's an area of growth for me right now. For us to have had all of the success that we've had, we're still growing, we're still learning, we're still helping each other. I'll look at him sometimes, I say, I need you to coach me, because he has areas of strength, you know, down to, even as he stated, he says, I was a part of government and it was the corporate aspect. I was a part of government, it was more people. So I'm there in social work. So I'm there with people needing food, people's children being taken from them. You know, I got emotions and things happening on a daily basis. I'm experiencing people's lives. So this is now something being built up in me even the more as I go to work every day. So this is something I carry. So now for us to come, I have this thing where I tell people I'm a recovering people pleaser. So being the type of person that's always trying to make sure everybody else is okay. And, you know, I put a post out there recently, make sure you saying yes to someone else isn't you saying no to yourself. That's learned. Well, he already know how to do that real good. You know, so there's times I look there, I said, I need some coaching. The things that I could experience, I'm like, I need your help. I need you to talk to me. And I go to him for that strength. And I'm grateful for that.
Thank you. Well, you know what? This is some good wisdom and some knowledge out there for couples, whether you're newlywed or whether you're thinking about getting married, or you've been a seasoned maybe 5-10 years or maybe 20-30 years. This is showing you how that a teamwork between two individuals in a couple or a relationship can really plan and strategize and recognize each other's strengths and focus on, I know I hit right on the button, didn't I?
I was just writing that down. Recognize and honor each other's strengths.
Exactly. Recognize, and the thing is, don't envy it. And, you know, recognize, cultivate the strengths in your heart. Cultivate it and appreciate it. And like she said mentor me. So, and that's an area that you are a weakness in, or that is something that you seek to strive or better yourself in, and your spouse has, you know, mastered that area, then let your spouse upgrade you. Because when she's upgrading you, you're upgrading each other. And because if she wins, I win. If I win, she wins, because you're one. It's not a race against each other. It's a race together. Together, the dream works. I always say the team works, make the dream work. And so if we get couples nowadays to recognize that this is how it works, this is how marriages and relationships can win.
Yeah.
Teams work together to win, not individual. When you have individuals,
Good.
Right.
they fall apart.
That's
Yeah.
awesome, honey.
They fall apart.
That's really good. Yeah. Love
And
that.
so take advantage. Now this is an awesome time for you guys out there. Go ahead and put your questions in the chat. And if we have any questions out there, so we can answer them, put them in the chat. Also, don't forget, let us know what city and state you're calling from, or you reside in.
Wow. I'm looking at all these comments. I'm not sure if you guys are able to see this.
I put a couple of
and
them
someone put, I just love you, Tonya Joyner Scott. And then it's just a blessing, because our goal right now is to bring about a change in marriage. It's to be the change that you want to see in your relationship. And just sitting here talking with the upgraders, you can see that there's opportunity after opportunity for you to pour into one another, to learn and glean from one another, so that your marriages can win, and to recognize the need for there to be for an upgrade to take place, that you need to shift your mindset. And how, you know what, I also think about the impact that what they're doing, it will have on the kids, because the kids will be able to witness that.
Exactly.
So now you're setting your children up to excel in their relationships. And that's going to be a blessing, because a lot of times kids don't always emulate what you say. They're going to emulate what they see. And so if they see mom and dad working together, mom respecting dad, dad respecting mom, dad supporting mom, mom supporting dad, that gives them a different mindset. That upgrades their mindset. So when they experience or encounter other children who may not have the same level of influence in their household, they will be able to, they'll be like, oh, well, when they come over and visit, they'll be like, wow, her mom actually touches her dad. Dad opens the door for mom. They're communicating, they're working together. We're bringing about a change, not just in the marriage, but you're setting a path for future relationships for your children. And to me, that is so key in this time.
That's coming to mind when you're talking about the children. Train up a child in the way they should go, so when they get old, they shall depart not, right? So and the thing is, we are two Holy Ghost filled individuals that are one, right? This is where the legacy part comes into place, right? The legacy is not always business, right? Everybody think, legacy, you thinking business and leaving your business. But the legacy part is when your kids see and hear you. You're imparting into them in the eye gate and the ear gate is going into that is imparted. Now, that legacy, what you're imparting into them, is now passed down to the next generation, because guess what? They're going to display their character that you're building by showing them and speaking to them, to their children. Current generation, next generation, next generation. Because of what you're doing, you're creating generational impartation into your kids. You're not only, and so, like we were saying, what they see, what they hear, people say, well, okay, when they see your kids, they say, oh man, your kids are so well mannered. And then all of a sudden you find them, they speak like you, they talk things that you want to do. Oh man, mom and dad, they want to be in business like you, or maybe they want to start their own business, individual, but now they have a template because they see mom and dad.
And that's me, that's fulfilling. I know nothing to me captured my heart more than how you pray for your kids and they're like, oh, they seem like they're not necessarily paying attention, but then when the teacher calls and says, hey, something happened to a child at school, and your child began to pray for them, you're like, oh, so y'all were listening. So it's amazing that level of impact and influence that you will have on them and that you do have on them.
Yeah, and I'll say this, Dr. Sakeisha, I got to say, this is just funny, but it just goes to show the example that we said. Our daughter, our oldest daughter was dating a young man, and he lived literally like next to RDU Airport here in Raleigh, 5-10 minute ride. We lived about 30 minutes away, and she had a 6 a.m. flight back to Atlanta.
Wow.
And she asked him, can you come pick me up and take me to the airport? And he said, why would I do that? I mean, just come stay with me. I live next to the airport. And I said, nope. see, that was an indicator for me. You're not the one for my daughter.
Right.
I'm up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I will drive her myself. See, I need to be able to see that a man will get up and drive 30 minutes out of his way to pick up my daughter and then drive past his house to the airport. That's what I need to see. If I don't see that, then he's not the one. But she recognizes I need a man that's knows that I am worth it. So
she actually felt that way without him saying anything. See, many would think it took her dad saying that to her. Yeah, that's not what happened. She came and was like, okay, and she said it. It was back to how he treats me. Yeah, how he does me. Our son. Now it is like that. Tyler will open the door. Tyler will wait. He does all of those things that he sees his dad do. So you're exactly right. That's basically what's being passed on. It's beautiful. I can tell Tyler's one that wants to be touched and hugged and all of that. So I pray about that. I'm like, Lord, send him somebody that need, as well. So that's so true. You said something too, and even I think a question came up that talks about it, because when people, for me, I'm strong, right? I'm very strong in mind and, the things that I'm able to do. And let's say it even in this way, more so strong in my gifting, okay? I've learned that. It's got so much that we could talk about, but let me just keep it right there. So I pulled up the lyrics to India Arie song. This song right here to me said it. I told somebody, I don't think she realizes it yet, but every time she writes something, it's really for me. One of them right here. So that's that song, Steady Love. And when she said, I hope I'm trying to get the way that he holds my hand, keep going. I have never met a man that I wanted to be his wife, and then he came along. It's so natural to make a life here, because he's a perfect complement, because I'm a boss in my world. But when we're together, he just makes me feel like his girl. And that lyric for me, I remember one day we were on a flight. Where were we going? Somewhere. He had fallen asleep. I had already downloaded the song. I had my little AirPods in and I'm listening. And I sat there with tears rolling down my eyes as he was sitting right here. I always get the window seat, if I can. And I looked at him and I just cried. I just had tears falling while I was listening to the song, but I'm listening to those words. And I'm like, this describes my husband so much. So now here's the point that I'm really making. I'm a boss in my world. What do I mean by that? Where I'm good at it. I am able to speak. I am able to help. I've gone out here. I've launched conversation camps. I've just done an anthology. There's been so many things I've done. There's things we're here doing together, and even with the upgraders. But what has happened is there are things that I was launching, but he's been right there, the support. So I've been a boss in my world, but he still makes me feel like his girl. I've been a boss in the things that I've done, but he still steps up and he's a man. I've been a boss in these areas in my life, but he still comes in and he's a support for me. He's not intimidated by it because he knows who he is. He's not frustrated. He doesn't make me feel any kind of way because he's not support. He's not support. But for women, it's also a respect. There's still where I need to listen. I need to hear. He's my head. He's my covering. He might say, Tonya, this is a bit too much. He might say, come on, let's rethink a thing. All of that. It all blends and works together. But I'm grateful that he allows me to be strong in the things that God has given me to do. And then he does the same thing. It just blessed me. So when you said that, I got to get the lyrics again. Y'all go listen to the song, Steady Love. Just listen to the words.
I'm listening to what you're saying, and that's just awesome. I love that. Wow.
That is powerful. I Wow. I saw a question that came across the screen, and there's someone out there that's listening. And can you pull that back up, honey?
Sure.
Where the comments are, and the listener is asking, how do you support a wife who's they call a high achiever? And that you hit the nail on the head, and you talked about supporting her strengths. Do you guys have anything else that you want to add to that? Because that comment, I saw that and I was like, okay, I want to make sure
Right.
that comment is addressed.
Well, so for me, I see that Tonya and I are one. So first, I have to recognize that I do have a contribution. Maybe I haven't figured it out yet. That's cool. But I've got to know that I have a contribution. While she already has hers, and I'm still trying to figure mine out, that's fine, because we're a unit. So if she's an overachiever and I'm still trying to figure things out, my job is to get behind her to support what she's doing, also figuring out what it is that I'm supposed to be doing. Because I think what happens is there's a misalignment with men when we don't know who we are.
Right.
When we know who we are, then we're able to say, baby, I got you. I got you. Because see, Tonya and I are both speakers. We've been speaking for over 20 years. However, when Tonya gets the call to speak, I'm like, let's go. Then I step in. I step in as the assistant. So I'm like, okay, I've negotiated deals for her. Okay, so what's the speaker's fee? Here's the speaker's fee. This is what she needs. So I step in for that, and that we're still one. Like you guys said, we're one. So I'm able to support that. So if a man figures out who he is, and even if he hadn't figured it out yet, just keep looking. It's coming, because we all have a purpose. We all have a purpose. Yeah.
Yes, and it's a combination of things too. It's like I love the question, but honestly, a lot of times it's like it's a matter of having some conversation to really hear everything that's happening and going on. Because, like Dexter said, knowing who you are, so that could mean a couple of things. One, knowing who you are. Yes, I'm the man. That's one. The other thing is knowing what it is that you're also called to do. That's another.
Right.
You see, because I know for Dexter, there was times. Let's go back to that first time. Remember when I talked to you about the first time we stepped into entrepreneurship? So here I am now with this company, and in that particular company, it was pretty much just me. He was traveling around. When we would go and there were presentations being done, we talked about that. He was the one that set up the room, then he sat in the back of the room, and then I was the one up in front of the room. And it got to a point where he was like, where do I fit in? And it wasn't comfortable for him.
Right.
And he was like, I need something. This isn't enough. There's more. So he had to say that. Communication. He's talking to me about it. So we're like, what can we do? So even this time that we've stepped in, people, you see one, you see the other, even now, but what we're doing in direct sales as we go speak or different things, you typically see both of us, but that's because we're really doing it together.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a couple of things in there. When to that question again, where you talk about what do you do for an overachieving wife? Because it's now to my sisters. It's like we're stepping out there, we want the support, we know what we need and what we need to do, but also notice that I'm saying I still look to him as my head. I still look to him as the one to give me counsel, advice as well. The thing that balances it, yes, I trust him, but I know he has my best interest at heart. He's not dealing with jealousies. He's not dealing with things that makes him not feel good and comfortable about who he is. So at the same time, if I am doing too much, because he's had to tell me that. Okay, he's had to come to me and say, babe, I need to slow down. When he just said, oh, I told you I'm a transparent kind of girl. Y'all ready?
Yeah.
So like for me, and then to see my children go to him first.
Yeah.
To ask about something.
Yeah.
And when they're not coming to me, it's like, why? He's available.
Wow.
We need to do some adjustments,
Mm-hmm.
and he may have to step in a little bit more with things, but I need to but if I see it, I need to do something about it as well. Let me become more visible. Yes, let's get down here and play some Uno together. It is something for us to sit there and play Uno. My son, Morgan, mommy's playing Uno. I just because mommy get busy. Mommy's doing a lot. Things happen. I'm being honest with you. So there's a balance, but I've got to be open to hear. And I'm gonna say to you again. Y'all heard me say it already. Exposure brings closure. That's how the enemy is. That joker unlatches from you. Why? When I expose his little behind. So for me to even say that right now on this platform, it's an exposure where he loses. Why? Because I recognize you. And that's when you do something about it. That's good. That's growth. Come on now. And it brings you into a higher place of abundance. You got to pass the test. You got to do what's necessary so you can continue to elevate. And that's what we do here as husband and wife.
Wow. That is powerful. And as you were talking, I was just thinking about it. And I believe someone also mentioned it in their comments. And you complement one another and you don't compete against one another, which is a really, really essential thing. You recognize each other's gifts and each other's strengths, and you encourage them in that. So that's really important. And also what I'm hearing is that you're saying you don't have to have all the answers. There is a process. There will be times where you go through things where you have to, let me figure this out. Let me figure out where's my place in this. And that is okay. Sometimes you know that as the husband, I have to have all the answers. Okay. He's like, okay, well, let me sit down and figure it out. And that's okay. You guys have those conversations, and that's what's so important. That's why we're always drilling communication, because how are we going to resolve these issues if we don't even know that they exist?
That's right.
And that's, like we said, exposure brings closure. I love that. I love that. So do you guys have one resource that you suggest that couples should not be without, they really need to have during this season?
That's a good question. We actually thought about this. I don't know. I mean, it's like there's so many things that we can say. I know resources tend to be tangible, but what popped in our head is just you cannot be without. There's that word again, communication.
Yeah,
it is a resource.
We thought time.
Yeah, and time, resource and communication and time and counsel. But time is very important. Time is extremely important. Yeah. So I mean, we're between those two. Okay. You can't be without communication. You don't know what's going on.
And when we say time, it's like even with that. But for me, when I say time, it's mine to him, him to me, because it's so much that comes in that takes it away. Yeah. And I'm telling you, in anything when people are just distant and it just separates. I'm telling you, it can be crippling, in a relationship, and especially for husband and wife. So that's one that we do talk about. I mean, he says it to me. It's like we have two favorite. Well, Hallmark is our favorite. Even him, for some men that will talk about him, but he likes a Hallmark. Okay, we love to watch Hallmark together. Okay. And we do, but it's so good. They tell me Hallmark isn't real. I said it is real. It's real. It's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
That's how it's supposed to be, but taking the time to spend together to do the things we like, or sometimes to do the things the other person likes. So that right there is a resource.
Yeah.
And it is a resource.
And as a matter of fact, the day we got married, the gentleman who drove us from the church to the banquet facility.
Yeah.
He said to us, and it just popped in my head. He said, if your wife, he was talking to her. He said, if your husband likes to go fishing,
I was just thinking,
go fishing with her, even if you don't like it.
And I was like,
and we were like, okay. But he was talking about time.
Yeah.
You have to have that time.
That's important.
Yeah, time is, and that's why you say quality time, time, right?
Yeah. Now, I do remember that we talked briefly about, you talked about an anthology that Tonya had recently released. Tonya, do you want to take a moment and just share with our listeners about the anthology project?
Absolutely. Well, we've done an anthology called Project Shine, but it's Shine. Oh, do I have one here with me?
I'll tell Tully to bring it.
Will you? But it is an anthology. 19 authors, we came together, and basically it's stories, impactful, from women. And these women have basically overcome. There's been so many things that they've gone throughout their lives, but they actually allow us to step in and to learn and hear a little bit about their experiences. So I know I had someone actually recently, they picked the book up that I saw on Sunday, as a matter of fact, and they said, I need to get a book, but they just said, so is everybody has a chapter? I said, actually, everybody's book is within this book, and each one of their books is spread up in 2 chapters. And I said, you won't be able to put it down. And I'm telling you, the messages that I have gotten, people who have reached out, there's messages that have gone to my other box. I'm like, oh, who is this? And they're like, I have your book. I cannot put it down. They've also said, I cannot believe that I basically can relate to a lot of things that's been shared here. I probably, some of my Shine sisters may even be here listening and watching with us right now. So y'all acknowledge yourselves, because they have actually allowed us to tap into their lives, and there's so much that you will draw from it that will literally help you just to continue to live your best life now. Things that they learn, how are they able to do it? I'm talking from so many attacks that they've been through, experiences, but that forgiveness is throughout the pages of this book. And one that I think about in particular is the very first book, even in it. She's a sign. There's one, actually, that's who I was just thinking about right there. Hers, it opens up the actual book. But I know when I would look at her, I would read, I would see different things, and I'm like, look at what you've done. How did you do this? How are you able to come to this place where you are right now? Many people need to hear and know. I said it already. The enemy operates in our silence. He doesn't want you to talk. He doesn't want you to share. He doesn't want you to let people know about how you feel, your experiences, because he wants to continue to have a conversation with you himself. But when you get to a place where you're actually able to come out and share and talk and release those things, that is when those chains of bondage are loosed from you. And that's basically what's happened with all of these Shine sisters. They release things. In doing so, it's helped them to overcome. And when people are actually able to read it, they realize that there's somebody else like me who can what? Who can get over and overcome too. That's Shine. There's a lot of things that's happening with it too. So that's the book. You can get it on Amazon. And then we have a site as well if you want to kind of meet the authors and everything. And it's Shine with the Upgraders. Shine with the upgraders.com, but you can get the book also from Amazon. But we also have a documentary. So a few of the sisters, we actually went on set and they did some sharing and we did a recording. So that documentary is right now in the process of being edited, and we'll be releasing that probably within the next couple of months as well. So that's to come.
All right. So how can our listeners stay in contact with you? We've got your Shine sisters representing, but we have messages are coming in saying, how can I get the copy of the book, for which you told them they can get from Amazon, but how can they stay in contact with the Upgraders?
Well, all of our social media handles are at the Upgraders, Instagram and Facebook, and also YouTube. And you can follow us, Dexter L. Scott, Tonya Joyner Scott on both Instagram and Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. So what's next for the upgraders? I know you mentioned the documentary that's going to be released in a few months.
That's going to be
Got your Shine Sisters. Anything else our listeners need to know about? Any events coming up?
For this pandemic to be over.
I know, right?
We had so much on the calendar, speaking engagements and everything. So prayerfully, those things will come back. We'll see once we all come out of this and getting things back on the calendar again. I've already been asked to about the next conversation camp that is coming. I cannot wait for that to happen. Our conversation camps that we have, and this is the thing. You want to talk about the conversation camp for me?
Yeah, I'll say something about it.
You want to say something about it?
So yeah, go ahead and tell them about yours.
Okay, well, conversation camp basically is a time where we come together as women, some sisters come, and it's really intimate. Typically, I have anywhere from about 23. I have had it up to 30. That's kind of big, but anywhere from 23 to 30 women, and we come together and just spend some time. If you can imagine, just walking across the threshold, kicking off the shoes, getting you a pair of footies, going over, grabbing you a little something in the kitchen, but then everyone is just sitting around on a chair. Some people may be on the floor, up on the beanbag, those types of things, and we're just enjoying each other. It's a time where you're able to come and share and release. Whatever happens within the walls that day, it remains there. We have speakers. I typically have 2 to 3 speakers that come, and again, it's in sharing, but people come, and I'm telling you, it's like they come, and whatever it is that God has for them to release, they release. People are able to ask questions, talk, share themselves. Ministry takes place. God speaks. There's healing, there's deliverance that happens often, and I don't know what it is, and even anybody who's ever even been to a camp, but it's almost like, when it's here, it's just so oh my God, it's so beautiful. You feel so good. There's so much love that's in the room and in the atmosphere, but through it all, there's a lot of healing. It's a lot of refreshing, and people leave and they just feel new again. And those are how the conversation camps have gone. I've even been contacted now where people have asked about bringing it to other parts of the country. I've been asked to bring it to Jamaica even. I've also been asked and talked to people about what I would like to do something. One of the people we had speak is saying, I like to do that here. What could I do to have something like that here myself? So it's just been really powerful. And so now I let Dexter speak because I've said to him so much.
Yeah, so
the brothers.
Yeah, I'll just say this. And so Eric, tell me, and Dr. Sakeisha, tell me how many conversation camps have you had? 4 or 5?
I think 4 or 5.
4 or 5. So a lot of people have been asking for conversation camps for me, and I'm considering it. It's in the works. But what I'm attempting to do is I have to figure out a formula to get men to open up, because that is extremely difficult. Men will get together, we'll watch sports together, we'll do whatever together, but we won't tap into those subconscious issues that need to be dealt with. So I'm going to hopefully be looking at doing a conversation camp for men, maybe in the fall of the year. And Tanya's had a lot of speaking engagements that were put off by COVID-19. So we're looking to reschedule those speaking engagements. So we'll be pretty busy going into the fall, hopefully if everything opens back up.
All right. So as we come to a close, can you give maybe with like 1 to 2 minutes to just give your number one tip for couples or for your clients so they can position themselves that their marriages can win?
You want to take that first?
A number one tip is what you guys have your pillars, and for me it's communication. Sometimes I think people think, what else? It's got to be something else, but really it's not. That is huge. Communication is the one that pretty much undergirds it all, and that's what it's done and been doing for us. Again, to me, communicating to him how I feel, me sharing with him, what it is that I like to do and what I want to see, talking to him about my hurts, talking to Dexter. I come to share with him. And you know what? Here's the thing, and it's a matter of learning how and when, okay? We have learned also in our communicating, it might not be the right time to talk right now.
Yes,
Right,
absolutely.
yes.
And that right there is something that we've learned and we do pretty well. What you think?
I think so.
I think so too. And then the
We've
other,
learned to get there.
we learned because it wasn't quite like that in the beginning. and I remember even having something happen, maybe I don't know, it's a couple of months ago or so, but everything is fine. Everything is fine going, but it was that situation, and I just wanted to share with him. Oh gosh, I'm gonna tell y'all, this is the thing, and then because we gotta go. But it was a matter of, no, it's really simple. It was a matter of, I knew and understood me. When I talked to you, I've shared with you already how I shared with you how I would deal with certain things. When I talk to you about the people pleasing, when I talk to you about how I feel about myself, well, a lot of people are surprised to hear, but having low self-esteem, not feeling good about myself, not feeling good about who I am, not feeling like I'm even enough. So that's what I brought into this marriage. Okay, so Dexter, again, he looking like, I'm not understanding you. And it was one day about, it's a couple of months ago, a few weeks, 6 or 8 weeks or so ago, but we were in conversation, and it's like there was something I was able to say to him where he had an aha moment about me, where he was like, now I understand why you kept going back to this place. But when I had the conversation with him, the communication, it was when nothing was going on.
Right.
We were in the middle of an event or an issue. It was just like, can I share something with you? And I did. And then that's when he said, I got it. But the conversation took place outside of an issue. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That right, but again, communication. That right there, everybody, we gotta get it.
Yeah, I'm gonna just add to communications process. So newlyweds, listen, it is a process. So what Tanya's talking about it was a process that we had to learn through that. Now, there's a quote by Samuel Beckett. He said, have you ever tried, ever failed? It doesn't matter. Try again, fail better. So that's the quote. In the middle is, have you ever tried, ever failed? Try, fail again, fail better. It's not just business, it's marriage too. I fail to communicate the right way sometimes. That's okay.
Yeah.
Fail better next time.
Yes.
So it gets us to an even stronger marriage by the failures that we've gone through in the marriage. So just keep hard, it's going to work out.
You know
what? That is so awesome, because what you're saying with the communication piece, you don't get a revelation of what the other person is thinking and saying until you actually communicate it. I know we can be prophetic, we can operate in the gifts of the Spirit, but sometimes, especially us men, we need to hear our wives talk to us and effectively communicate to us. And then once they effectively communicate to us, we get a revelation. Oh, wow. Yeah. Like you said, that was an aha moment. Yeah. It was a defining moment.
Really?
But now you got a revelation of what she said and what took place. Mm-hmm. And so until you actually have that communication piece, you're just clueless. And that's what that was an upgrade. Your relationship is now upgraded to a whole nother level.
That's right.
Yeah.
And then you continue to do it as you communicate.
Yeah.
So that's just so awesome. This has been so good. I'm like, wow.
And you know what? I'm looking like, where did the time go?
I know.
Tanya was talking about ministry, and I was like, oh yeah, we're gonna talk about our faith. We're gonna do that. And I'm like, wait. We're gonna have a part 2 another time.
Because it's getting good. I'm just loving it. I'm soaking it up. I'm getting revelations. I'm upgrading. And see, that's the thing. I'm pliable. I'm clay.
Yeah.
I can sit here and just glean and get revelations and learn. So I know how to effectively communicate to my wife so we can go to the next level.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
That's important. So Dexter and Tonya, thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We appreciate this time with you. I am sure, based on the comments that are coming in, I know everyone here has really, really enjoyed their walking away, educated, empowered, and encouraged. Their mindsets, they're being upgraded right now. So when they go back into their homes, You're probably gonna get emails. Wow, something happened on that live. My wife has changed. I mean, that's a blessing in and of itself.
Absolutely.
What you're doing is working. It's impacting people. So we definitely want to stay connected. Let us know what's going on. So let us know how we can support. And thank you so much to our listeners. We want to stay. Make sure you just stay tuned. That we're here pretty much almost every night at 9 o'clock. Tomorrow night we have our Winning Wives Prayer Call. So for wives out there that are struggling during this time, that are going through challenges, we get together every Thursday night at 9. And tomorrow night we have Tasha Campbell, and we're going to be talking about becoming unstuck in this season. So it's going to be an amazing time tomorrow night at 9 o'clock right here on Facebook Live.
Yes. And as you know, like you were talking about your anthology, we have one now. Our book now is it's going to consist of 12 different authors, and it's called Struggling to Keep the Vow. So Keisha and I had a defining moment in our marriage, and it birthed our first book, Marriage Can Win. And now we're on our fourth book, and we become best-selling authors as well. And with Struggling to Keep the Vow is where we have 12 couples that actually become transparent and share what caused them to struggle to keep their vow and how they overcame that struggle. Powerful. Right now, we're in the pre-sales mode right now. And so all our listeners and our watchers, you can go to Sakeisha.strugglingtokeepthevowsbook.com and get your pre-order. And go ahead.
Can I say something?
Sure.
And just a reminder, even a part of this book, we have a therapist who's a part of the anthology. So she not only gives, she gives her personal perspective of what she faced in her relationship as well. So our goal was to get couples from all different walks of life to experience different challenges and how they struggle to keep their vows. So that way that there are couples that are out there that are listening, that are reading, will recognize when you look at people on the screen, yes, a lot of times we're smiling now, but it was a process, like Dexter said, we had to go to get to this point. This is 26 years, but we're still learning about one another.
22 years of marriage, 4 children. Went through our highs and lows, our richer and poor, sickness and health, and all of those.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a blessing. So again, I just want to thank you guys. Again, thank all our listeners. Make sure we all stay connected. This has totally been a blessing. My mind has been upgraded. So,
and if you're just coming on the end, you got to catch the replay.
You have to.
The upgraders are awesome. You will have missed it, so you got to catch the replay.
You got to catch
make sure you get.
Let me say this. Let me tell you this real quick as we get ready to exit, because my mind's already going too. And I'm like, there's going to be a conversation camp for couples. And I said, I already know who one of the speakers going to be right here. Okay? But I remember even having someone reach out to me. It's been a while ago, very early on, but they were like, will you do anything like this for couples? And then to hear your book as well. So as you ask what's to come,
But I tell you guys, make sure you connect with Dexter and Tonya Scott. You have to connect with them.
Upgrade your
mindset.
Mindset is everything.
Yes. So now, as we close tonight, just remember, you have to be the change that you want to see in your relationship.
All right. So till next time.
All right.
All right. Bye, everyone. We want to thank you for joining us today on our broadcast.
Let's keep the conversation going. You can connect with us via Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or subscribe to our YouTube channel under Marriage Can Win.
Also, you can join us 24/7 on our Marriage Can Win podcast at www.themarriagecanwinshow.com. And also connect to us at marriagescanwin.com.
Remember, you can be the change you want to see in your relationship. Until next time, see you soon.